Inbreeding, the practice of marrying close relatives, has a long and intricate history that is deeply intertwined with the European monarchies. It has left a lasting impact on these dynasties, shaping their fortunes and misfortunes and influencing the course of history in significant ways. The roots of inbreeding in European royal families can be traced back to ancient times, where marriage alliances were often forged to consolidate power, strengthen political ties, and maintain control over territories. These marriages were frequently contracted between close relatives, leading to a pattern of intermarriage that persisted for centuries. During the medieval and Renaissance periods, European monarchs frequently practiced inbreeding to maintain their bloodlines and secure their claims to thrones and territories. This practice was driven by a desire to prevent the fragmentation of kingdoms through inheritance disputes and to ensure a clear line of succession. Inbreeding was seen as a way to safeguard the royal lineage, even though it often came at the cost of genetic diversity. Over time, this focus on maintaining purity within the bloodline led to an increasing number of consanguineous marriages. One notable example of the impact of inbreeding is the Habsburg dynasty. The Habsburgs, who ruled over a vast empire spanning Europe and the Americas, were notorious for their intermarriages. These unions were meant to consolidate their power across different territories, but they also resulted in a high degree of inbreeding. This led to a wide range of health issues among the Habsburg rulers, including physical deformities, intellectual disabilities, and a high infant mortality rate. The most famous case is that of Charles II of Spain, who suffered from a multitude of physical and mental disabilities due to generations of inbreeding within the Habsburg family. The House of Bourbon is another prominent example. The marriage practices within the Bourbon dynasty, particularly in France and Spain, often involved close relatives. King Louis XIV of France married his cousin, and King Charles II of Spain was the offspring of an uncle-niece marriage. These unions were intended to preserve the purity of the royal bloodline, but they resulted in a series of weak rulers and succession crises. The physical and mental health problems associated with inbreeding were exacerbated within the Bourbon family, contributing to the decline of their power. Inbreeding also played a role in the downfall of the Romanov dynasty in Russia. The Romanovs, who ruled for over 3 centuries, frequently married within their own family. This practice aimed to maintain the legitimacy of the royal line, but resulted in a higher incidence of hemophilia, a genetic disorder that affected several members of the family. The most famous case was Alexei, the son of Tsar Nicholas II, who suffered from severe hemophilia. The strain of caring for a sick heir further weakened the credibility of the monarchy, contributing to the social and political tensions that eventually led to the Russian Revolution in 1917. As the Enlightenment dawned and scientific understanding advanced, the negative consequences of inbreeding began to be recognized. Medical professionals and scientists started to link health issues and genetic disorders within royal families to the practice of marrying close relatives. Despite this growing awareness, the pressure to maintain dynastic purity often took precedence over concerns about genetic diversity and health risks. The devastating impact of World War I and the subsequent collapse of empires further reshaped the European monarchy landscape. Many monarchies were abolished, while others faced significant challenges to their legitimacy. The surviving royal families had to adapt to changing times and public sentiment. The pressures of the modern era, combined with a growing understanding of the dangers of inbreeding, led to a further reduction in the practice among the remaining European royal families. In the present day, most European monarchies have embraced a more open approach to marriage, often seeking partners outside of traditional royal circles. This shift has helped to diversify their gene pools and reduce the risk of genetic disorders. While inbreeding still occurs in some circles, the lessons from history have underscored the importance of genetic diversity for the health and longevity of ruling dynasties. In conclusion, the history of inbreeding in European monarchies is a complex tale of power, politics, and genetics. For centuries, royal families used inbreeding as a tool to consolidate power and preserve their bloodlines, often leading to a host of health issues and genetic disorders. This practice reached its peak during the medieval and Renaissance periods, with the Habsburgs, Bourbons, and Romanovs as prominent examples. The negative consequences of inbreeding, both in terms of genetic health and political stability, became more apparent over time. The Enlightenment and changing social norms prompted a gradual shift away from inbreeding, culminating in the 19th and 20th centuries when many monarchies faced upheavals that forced them to reconsider their traditional practices. Today, most European royal families have adopted more inclusive marriage practices to ensure the vitality of their bloodlines and to avoid the pitfalls of inbreeding that plagued their ancestors.